So we'll talk about QTP in this class. So there's no more QTP. It's UFT, Unified Functional Testing. Okay, and but here we'll just look it through this. I mean, the features and functionalities of that tool, right, will be same. Okay, they might change this little bit functionalities, changes. They will be changing the UI, user interface and all those things. But those things will remain same. Okay, so we just go through this. So this is, this tool is when you're doing regression testing. Okay, so when you're trying to do regression testing, so normally this is a completely different thing altogether. Okay, so it's not really related to manual. Sometimes you might do. Okay, you might do manual as well as automation testing. Okay, but if it's in a big company, let's say you're working for a big billion-dollar company, right? So in that case, what happens is, they will be having a different team altogether. Okay, automation testing, they will be putting some, automation guys, manual testing. There will be a manual testers. But in small companies, sometimes you have to do both. Okay, there's a small application, and you have to do for both. Okay, manual as well as the automation. So here, we see here about QTP. Okay, so here let me show you pretty quick here. So this is actually Selenium script, like I'm just showing to you. So this will be similar for the QTP too. Okay, if you're using UFT or QTP, another or Selenium, the UI will be similar. Okay, and here I'm using the open source. This is an open source. Eclipse is an open source, and this is kind of when you're running your code, right? You have to run your script. Okay, that's called script. There's two things, right? Test cases, test scripts. Okay, test cases is what you are going to write. Test scripts is something which is automation script or or Selenium script or UFT scripts. Those are called test scripts. Okay, so sometimes or most of the times, they'll be jumbling, like they're called test cases, test scripts. Okay, go with the flow. I don't have to argue like test script is different, test cases is different. Okay, however they are mentioning it, you can go with the flow. Okay, but technically these two things are different. Test cases is something which is a document. Okay, which you write your test cases, and test scripts is something which this is a script, right? This is a script, and when you put into one folder or one test case is called test scripts. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, so here this is just a quick view of this. So let's say this is actually Selenium. Okay, Selenium, and okay, it doesn't work right now. Let's try this one. This doesn't work, but this is a script. Okay, this is how it looks like. And in UFT, it's Visual. Okay, so Visual, and here it is a Java. Okay, so Visual Basic actually. Okay, this is a Visual Basic, and here it's a JavaScript. Okay, so that's the difference. So here, let's run. This doesn't work, but let's go pretty quick here. We'll just try to run this script. Okay, this is how, right? Whenever you get a script, you have to put that script here. This is a tool where you have to run it. Okay, so we'll just do here is let's run it. So it doesn't run because we have updated to that Firefox Quantum. Before it was a normal Firefox, right? So it's used to run, but that's the only problem. That's why. But it still shows up. Okay, let's see here. Okay, it still tries to open this. It does automatically. Okay, it opens this Firefox. It puts all the values. Okay. That doesn't show up here, but it puts the values, it executes it, clicks that button, it goes to the next page, everything happens automatically. everything happens automatically. Okay, if you see here, it's already, you see here, the Firefox has been open for you. So this is all in the script. Okay, all this in automation script. This is all there here. Okay, it doesn't work right now, but it goes to that particular URL. It automatically orders, orders it, and click on this buttons, OK buttons, and moves to the next page. And if there is a script, it closes this browser. Okay. So okay, so this is okay. It got closed because it doesn't work in Firefox Phantom. Maybe I should try to downgrade it so that maybe I'll be able to show you how this thing works. But this is how it works. Okay, this is how an script works. Okay, automation script. Okay, this is an automation script, and you are given script, and you have to run this script. Okay, that's your job. So as a tester, right, automation tester, you will be running this. Okay, this is an example to you to show. Okay. But as such, as a tester, you'll not be really working on this code, what is public, what is private, as object classes. You're not really working completely into that as a tester. Okay, if you're going as a tester. But if you're going as a developer, automation developer, there are automation developers too. Okay, automation developers, Selenium developers, and UFT developers. Those guys are actually who do this creating the script. Okay, not testers. Okay. So this is how this looks like, and similarly you will be having similar interface will be there for UFT. Okay, so what's this? It's just for demo to show you like how this thing works. Okay, so let's go back here. So testing process. Okay. So this testing process, what you do, any tool, so it doesn't matter, Selenium, LoadRunner, or LoadRunner is a non-functional, okay, it's not really related to functional testing. LoadRunner is non-functional, so but it's an automation tool, okay. UFT, Selenium, LoadRunner, okay, whatever tools you are using, this will be the similar process, okay. So what you do is prepare for record. That means here is record once, play many, okay. So that's what you're going to do here. That means when you record, what happens when you record is the script is generated for you. Okay, here you're not doing any coding. Okay, for the first time, if you want to do coding, you don't want to do coding, so you want to record it. So once you record it, the scripts get generated for you. That means you really don't require to script any from scratch. You want to look at the script and see what is it, how this looks like. Okay, you want to see that. So that's what it does. Okay, once you record it, you can enhance a test. So once the script is generated, you can enhance. That means you can tweak your script, okay, remove some of these options, some of these buttons. No, you don't want to click this button, so you want to remove that. So all those things, right? You want to enhance your script, okay? Or if you want to add some additional features into the script, you can also do that. And then debugging. So debugging, you go step by step. You see the script, and you want to run that script. And let's say you want to run another part of script, okay? So that's called debugging. If you find any bugs, okay, you want to see there. Okay, and the running, once you run the test and it's finished, let's say QTP, you have just run it, right? Just run it and you forget about it. And what happens, it runs for you and generates the results and stores, then you can analyze the results. Okay, what's the result? So it's result is automatically generated, and it's kind of PDF format, and see this, how many errors, how many the script is failed. Okay, it's not, it's all those will be there in the results. And if there is any defects, you report the defects. So this is automation point of view. Okay, so this is the testing process for in automation. Again, you are not supposed to get too many defects at this point. Okay, this is a regression. Now let's say if you are even doing regression testing, you're not supposed to get too many defects. If you're getting too many defects in regression, then the person who is getting hold of a QA guy. Okay, so not the automation tester, not a developer, not anyone. The only person who is getting hold of is QA guy. the very first question from your boss will be why there is too many defects in automation, why not it was taken in QA. Okay. The first question from your boss will be why it's showing up in automation, why you didn't do in QA. Okay, so that's the reason you don't want to get too many defects in regression. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So there is an add-in manager. So that means QTP, doesn't understand. It only it doesn't understand everything, right? It has simple features, simple functionality. So what happens is, if there's complex websites like there's a video or there is then you need to test that too, right? Videos and this right click buttons, left click buttons, too many. So you want to add add-ins, okay? So that means if you click on this, now it is able to recognize, okay? It's kind of plugin, right? If you use this, you will be able to do the work, okay? Otherwise, not. So that's the use of add-in. So there's ActiveX, Visual Basic Web, that means you're testing web applications, okay? And other add-ins, you have also Java, that means an application which is designed in Java can also be used. Oracle, and so this is the add-in manager. You add actually, there's an add-in so that you'll be able to recognize what you're trying to do. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So recording modes. There are three types of recording modes. That is normal, analog, and low-level recording. Okay. So in the normal recording, so what happens in the normal recording, right? Let's say, so in the normal recording, let's say you're clicking this button. Okay, this is called normal recording. Putting some values here. Okay, all this is normal recording. And when you come in the analog recording, let's say you want to use some features which comes under right click. Okay, this is the right click. That means the right click, if you show up here is different, and if you show up here is different, right? So that means there might be some features or functionalities by clicking on right click. Okay, so that kind of things, that's an example. Okay, that's not really the one, but it's an example what you can use in analog recording. Okay, and then low-level recording. Low-level recording is like, let's say you want to use additional features like tab option. Okay, you're using tab instead of mouse. Okay, and you're using keyboard, right? So that what to do is low-level recording. Okay, there are three types of recordings. And then you have two modes, there's two run modes, that is normal and fast. Okay, this running is kind of, you run the script, right? Like just like I've run the script right now, right? Few minutes back. Okay, you're running this, so that's called running. So here you have two options, that is normal and fast. Okay, so let's go to any questions so far? So let's now see about various. So these are so we'll talk about here these features. Okay, these features and what are the functionalities. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so here let's start from here. So this is this is the title bar. Okay, where you have title, but in Windows 10, I think you guys removed this title bar, so most probably there was no title bar. But yeah, normally it is the title bar which is supposed to be there, and then you have this menu bar, okay, where you have these options like file, edit, view, insert, a lot of options, right? So that's called menu bar, okay. And that's common for any any tool. Okay, so I don't see. I will explain through that script using Selenium, but UFT needs license. So as of such, I have not installed QTP in my system. So that's really actually said like you cannot install in system because system is not capable of handling that that application. So I never install it QTP. Okay, so yeah, so that's the reason I showed up you an example of Selenium. So that would be similar for the QTP, similar for me. Okay, so okay, because QTP requires license, and the license is not the problem. The thing is, you have to install, and that requires a lot of things. Okay, because it connects with a lot of databases. It has to be connected with a lot of things. Okay, it's required the frameworks, and that almost takes GBs of almost I think 4 to 5 GB. Okay, and that also makes sure that other applications should not disrupt with that, right? So that was good. So my system was not capable of able to handle that one, so this is never installed. Okay, so so let's see here. Let's go to the next. So after menu bar there is file toolbar. Okay, it's a file toolbar here. Um, this is a shortcut. Okay, it's a shortcut. That means you will be having all these options here too. Okay, in menu bar you'll be having all these things, but here this is for your convenience. It's there here. Okay, this is a file toolbar. Then you have this debug toolbar. Okay, where you can debug your code. If there's any script, you can debug it here. Okay, and then you have this testing toolbar where related to any testing. Okay, and then you have this action toolbar. Okay, the action toolbar. This is the action. We'll take it. So for ease of understanding, what we can say action is kind of worksheet. Okay, but just we try to understand this action. It's way more complex than that. But for layman language, we'll see as a worksheet. That means if your script is there, it has to be displayed somewhere, right? Notepad or WordPad or something, right? That is called action. Okay, that's called action in this here in QTP. Because whenever a script is there, you have to put somewhere the code, right? All the script and code thing. So that's called action. Okay, so it's way more complex than that. We'll see here. Okay, moving forward, we'll see how it works. So that's how it is. Okay. Action is a worksheet. Okay. So so this is called test pane. Okay, it has two options here: keyword view and expert view. Okay, keyword view is this is what it shows up. I know expert view is the all code like we've just seen here, right? That's previously a few minutes back. That's expert view because it's how the code will be showing up here. Okay, so that's and then you have this data table. It's kind of Excel. It's Excel for QTP actually. It's integrated for QTP. That's called data table. Okay, this is the data table. And then you have this is active screen. This means when you're running the script, it shows all this. Okay, which one you're running, and this is checkpoint. Okay, if you're seeing here, this is a checkpoint. It's a purple color. You see this on Mercury, purple color. So that means somebody put checkpoint. That means you want to see here that field is available or just text is showing up or not. Okay, so we'll go through that in detail. Okay, so here let's go here one by one. So this is new. If you want to open a new, okay, you can open a new, and this is to open. If you want to open existing script, you can open it, and this is to save. And if you want to print it, this is the option. And let's go to this one. So this is quality center connection. Okay, this one is called quality center connection. That means previously how it was like, so what happens, right? Somebody will do the code, right? Somebody will be doing the programming part, and but you're a tester, so you'll not be doing any programming, okay? So, but what happens, right? But you need a script to run your test cases, right? You need to run your test scripts, and you need that script, right? That code, the whole code, because you're not a developer, you're a tester, right? So what you want? So what does the developer does is they put into the quality center, okay? And if you click on this, and put the location where exactly that location of that particular script is, it pulls out and puts it here. That's the use. Previously, it was the use of that. Okay, you connect directly to the quality center and pull out the script, and that would put right into this too. Okay, so that's the quality center connection. And let's go to the next. So this one, this is called object repository. Okay, so so before going to this object repository, right? QTP only identifies, let's say even whatever it has to, QTP has to identify, right? It has to identify based on the object. Okay. So can anyone tell what's an object? Object in software, not in any other. So what is an object? So let's take in this page. So what is an object here? Okay, button, window. Okay, that's good. Those are the examples. That's right. Okay, those are the objects. Now, what's the definition for an object then? Anyone? Okay. Okay. So the object is something which contains properties and values. Okay. Object is which contains properties and values. Okay. So let's take an example here. Okay, let's say somebody said this button. Okay. So this button. Okay. So let's take this example of this button. Okay. Enter Geoma Online. Okay. This button has its properties and values. Okay, like what? Like it has this length. You see, this is the length. It has this, height. Okay, this has height. This is not a 3D button, so it doesn't have any breadth. Okay, and it has other things too. Okay, it has HTML tag. It has title. What's the title? Enter Geoma Online. Okay, there's the title of that button. So these are the properties and values. Okay, properties. Let's say this is the properties length, and its value maybe 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters, 2.5 centimeters. Okay, and this is the height. What's the value? Half centimeter. So this is, this is called property. Sorry, this is an object. Object is which contains properties and its values. Okay, so now what happens, right, on QTP, and QTP only recognizes through properties and values. Okay, it only recognizes that. So what happens, right, with this object repository? What it does when you're recording it? So let's say you're recording, you're recording and clicking this button. what happens that property and values of all that button, including that image, gets stored in object repository. That means next time you're running that script, that will automatically click for you. Okay, you're not automatically QTP click that because it is already stored in object repository. Okay, the properties and all its values get stored in object repository. Okay, and you can also create your own property and values. You have this option here to do it. So that's the okay. You know what? Let's let me show you one other option actually. Okay, can we go to that? So here there's a there's one more this man with the hat guy. So that is called object spy. Okay, now you don't know what the property and values. Yes, you don't just looking at this button, you don't know what is the property and values. So what this man with the hat guy does is it shows you list of different properties and values for you. Okay, if you click that button and click here, it shows what are the properties and what are the values and how can you use in your script. Okay, that's what it shows you. But let's see here. We can also see in one more way of, but really it's not the appropriate way to use it because as a tester you'll not be using this. Okay, you have to use the same option. Okay. So let's see here. So here you see this. This is this code. Okay, this is we are looking in the code point of view, but really you shouldn't do that. But just trying to understand here. Okay, so this is here. So if you see here, this is a property and this is a value. Okay, that's what we are trying to give here. Okay, and this is again what is the value title. Okay, this is the title of this button. So what is the title? GM Online. Okay, this is the property and this is the value. Again, they have this JavaScript. They are using through JavaScript. That's fine. And they're trying to click it. Okay. So that's how it works. Okay. Even in the code, they'll be using the similar option. What is the property and what is the value for it? Okay. That's how it defines for that button. Okay. So, but it's still you're not supposed to use this. You need to use this man with the hat guy and find out because there are a lot more properties and values than what actually shows at the code. Okay, we are not really worried about this the application code, but we'll be looking into how to click that button. Okay, how to select that button, how to click this button using QTP. Okay. Okay. So let's go to the next one. And this is a debug toolbar, is there's a breakpoint if you want to break your code and see when you're running your script you can use that. Okay, now this let's go to the next one, testing toolbar. So here this is a record option where you can record. Okay, recording in sense when you click on this, it records the application. Let's say you're trying to record this application, so you click on record option and put all this. So that means all this is getting recorded. Okay, it will get recorded, and all this will be recorded, and you can play back later. The same thing will you play back. Okay, once you record, and then you have this run. Once you want to run, you can run this. And then stop. This is disabled, but it will be only enabled when you actually run this. Okay. And this is you have this action. You can create an action. Okay, and then you can split an action. Okay, again action. I told you right. Action. Take it as a worksheet. That means kind of where the script is written, right? it shows up in here. So it's kind of worksheet. Okay. And then you have these two things, right? Start transaction time and end transaction time. Okay, that means you want to know. Let's say you want to know the granularity of an application. Okay, let's say you're moving. So you're moving to these different pages, right? You want to see that how much time it is taking to move from one page to another page, from another page to. So you want to know that time, okay, the amount of time it's taken. So you want to use this start transaction time and end transaction time. Not only that, it also shows up you a lot of graphs, okay, or the graphs here, and they'll be there for here. So this and next we go to you have these two options: low level recording and log recording. Okay. And then, so this is the test pane, okay? This test pane, if you see here, there are 4 columns, okay? This is the item. That means this contains all the objects, okay? This is all the objects. This again, there's a parent objects, there's child objects, okay? The parent object is always the web browser. You see this? This is the web browser. And this is the parent object. And all about that is, these are the child objects, okay? And then is operation. So that means what operation are you trying to perform with that object, okay? If it is a button, then you click on right to click. So this is the operation you perform. If it is a radio button, you put as set, right? Set. And if you are using drop down box, then you'll be using select. So this is pre-coded actually, this is all the default pre-coded, whatever you're using, this should be there, okay? So this is not something new thing, okay? And the password is always set secure, okay? Set secure, that means it will be encoded and nobody knows what the password is actually, okay? This is supposed to be like this because nobody else supposed to know what's the password. You only the person who is using it will be knowing it, okay? No one else supposed to know. So that's the reason, right? You cannot actually, normally they don't send you password. You have to reset your password. So there's no option for sending your old password back. It's really not a secure way of doing it. Okay? So that's this is encrypted. So that's why it is set secure. Okay. So this is the operation what you're trying to perform. And next you have this value. Okay. So that for particular property you have this value. Okay. So for this username is the value, and for password this is the value. Okay. So that's the value. Okay. And it's like similarly if you see here. So you hear it, right? So this name, for this name, you have some value. You have to put, okay, this is address. You have to put some value. So that's what it is, okay? And then you have this documentation. That means what it's trying to do. Okay. Then here is you have this. Then you have this data table. Okay, data table is where this is used for the parameterization. So we'll talk about this parameterization. That means you want to change your constants. If values are constant, right? You want to change these values. You don't think the password to it. Okay, you want to change this value into different values. Okay.
Hi, Manu.
Hi.
Are you going to provide the access of this Q2P or like a credential and through or you are going to have just access through link?
Unfortunately, I don't have access for this one, so I will not be able to provide this one. But I'll be giving you Selenium, okay, Selenium link. You can download it, and you can also, if you need more information, I can help you on that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
do it using Eclipse, but that is little bit that was little bit complex because That will be
See,
like,
I have already a background of like IT, and that's earlier I done like Eclipse. I know that, but I don't know how to relate you like Q2P with the Eclipse.
so if you already have this idea, so then, so here's the thing. So what I'll be giving you is the okay this IDE. Okay, you can download this IDE.
Okay.
Okay, so I this once you've done that, you can you can run that IDE. Okay, Selenium IDE, and you'll get the script. Once you generate the script, you can export that script into Java, and then if you have Eclipse, right, then put that into and you can run it.
No, I didn't get your point actually. I didn't understand how it is, but like,
So the
are
thing
you
is,
going?
yeah.
Yeah.
So Eclipse is a different, it's a
Yeah, I know that. That's for the like IDE for the Java. For you, if you
different.
want to have like, yeah, I know that. I have a software of that Eclipse.
So, but the code, if you want to get the code, now the problem is you have to get the code, right? How to run it. So that's the only thing where you get is from Selenium IDE. Once you get the code, put that code into it and run into it. That should be good. Well, actually, that will not be an easy because this requires a lot of. Let me show you. Just give me a second. Okay, so it requires a lot of you need Java JDK, Java development kit, and you need this WebDriver, JUnit, and Geico. So it will not be an easy unless if you're going as a developer. This will become like more of a developer work. Okay.
Yeah, I know that that's there for the developer part. For the testing part, like if I want to have a training in Q2P, like in for my resume, if I put the Q2P, so how I do tell them that okay, I know that how it is running and how the program is going on because I didn't have any practice on the Q2P, right?
Right. So only thing you say like is getting the script. We used to get the script and we used to run that script. Okay, that's how you will be. Mostly you'll be doing that even if you're a tester. You just run the script. So once you run the script,
Okay.
okay, you might run for 1 hour, 2 hours, or maybe long too, and you get the results. Once you get the result, you analyze the results. So what's exactly this? Then you open the defects.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
Okay.
You're going to do as a tester. Only thing is just running it. A tester just click on this button and just
So
run.
basically, you are going to say that the already all the like coding is already done. Just we have to run, press the button of run and see that the result, what the result is coming, and we have to just report that result.
Exactly. So as a tester, only that you'll be doing.
No, as a tester, I guess we will be writing automation test scripts, isn't it, Manu?
So
So I guess we are here to learn those all things. And
Yeah, I think.
the things you are teaching are just limited, I guess, which are not enough in the market.
right.
Yeah, and which I already talked with HR, our HR, and they are not saying that we are only just going to have a look of all software. I think we have to some practice on that. Like for Jira is okay, Rally is okay, but like for Qtp, I think we need some practice also. We need some more classes for that.
Yeah, sure.
The manual testing we can do, not even IT professional can do manual testing, but as a professional, I guess we need to learn all these in detail.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, for in detail, right? For more, maybe you can check with them because that requires separate classes. Because okay, if you're because that's that goes a little bit long because you need to know some Java objects. What are the classes? JUnits. That's a little bit different world altogether. Okay, so that I guess will take more 1 week or 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. Okay, so that will be a different world altogether. So I guess,
So, yeah, Manu. So, my HR is Renu. So, for like when you have a discussion with Renu for the for the new North Carolina batch or some like for me, so just a discussion of you have to teach QA manual only.
yeah, because mine is only QA manual, so I'll be mostly in the QA manual. I'm just giving an introduction for so only the whole class is just for as an introduction, but not really as complete into automation. It's just an introduction to automation. That's it.
Because as far I have seen in the market, QTP is more focused as automation.
Yeah,
Why do
I
we
agree
cover
also.
this?
Yeah, it's a more focus, and if we don't know this, with the details and everything, then why we can't click the interview also, I think.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I guess you can check with them if you need separate classes. Maybe they might have some separate classes for Selenium. I guess for Selenium they are doing it. Not sure about QTP. Maybe you know to check with them if for Selenium is there or not. Because Selenium is similar to QTP. If you know one thing, that's fine. It's like knowing Rally. If you know Rally, you can do Jira. You can do HPL. Similarly, same thing.
Selenium ID is also not enough. I think it's
Yeah.
just recording tool. It gives not much. It is not
Right. Yeah, you
specific.
cannot use, yeah, so it's only used for recording purpose. And you can only generate code with that. And you cannot really do much on this unless you have Eclipse or some other tool to work on it. Yes, that's right.
I think you are supposed to give training on that also.
No, mine is up to QA manual. So manual, I stick to this one. If it is Selenium,
Yeah,
then it might be a
yeah,
different.
Manu, I'm clear about that. The Selenium is different. Like on a Java, we have a background of also core Java. That's different. But for QA manual, the QTP is not covered. Like QTP, it's not covered in the part of QA manual.
No, QA in QA, actually QTP is not really part of the QA.
So if like I'm going to a profile of QA, like QA manual, so they are not supposed to ask us for about the
Yeah,
do you know that
yeah,
QTP?
normally don't have, but it's again based on the requirements, right? Sometimes they ask you, right? You have this 70% QA, 30%, automation, or 50% QA, 50%. In that case, you want to use this. Okay, in that case,
Okay.
it will be there. So otherwise, if you are doing manual, then there's not supposed to be any automation.
No, I have seen QA automation is always tagged in the vacancy or any requirement, all the requirements.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a bit difficult for us to attend the interview even.
So yeah, what I can do is we can see if anyone is interested. Show you how to use this. Downloading the Eclipse because there's 34 things after doing that Eclipse. Okay, so you can start using that Eclipse and so I'll just do it in a free time. Whoever is interested, so we can do that. But for the classes, that's a whole separate thing altogether. So,
Okay, Manu, thank you.
yeah.
Let us talk with our HR and then we will
Yeah, that should
reach
be
out to you.
yeah, that
Yeah,
should be better because they
yeah. Thank you.
okay, sorry about that. Okay, let's continue with this. Um, so this is data table. Okay, so this data table is so whenever you're trying to use this, right? Let's say you want to use this values. You want to not one value. Here is only one value for this, right? New York. You want destination, not just New York. You want Paris, France. So that you want to do is a parameterization. Okay. What this parameterization does is you want to assign that value to variable. Okay. And then you put here that variable name. Okay, whatever the name is, and you want to assign here a lot of variables. That means New York, Paris, Denver, Colorado. So all this, you can. So now QTP runs more than once. Okay, that runs in iterations. Okay, that means it's iteration because you're trying to test. Okay, you're trying to test for different values, okay, not just one value in New York. You're also trying to test for Denver, you're also trying Paris, okay, so on. So that's the reason you need this data table, okay, for the parameterization. That's called parameterization. So we'll go a little bit more on that. Okay, then we have, so this is the active screen. This active screen where you can, once you run the script, this changes, the screen flips and says what it's trying to do. Okay, so this is the active screen. Okay, so this is, a little bit new, features. This has features and functionalities in it. QTP. Okay, so let's go back to our slide, and okay, let's start this one. And just okay, so we already talk about this object repository, right? So this is the object repository where all the objects is stored. You can see it here. So these are the all objects. And what is a property? You see here, this properties and values. It shows up right for you. If you click on this object repository, it will show you what are these properties and its values. Okay. And then you can also add your own object, okay? So you can also have your own object, you can export it, you can do all those things. You also have an option here to object spy, see what's the property and its values, okay? Okay, so here's the option, okay? Okay, so it's okay, we'll not go in detail about this. This is the object repository where you can store all the properties and the values of an object. So this is for QTP to identify the, if you want to click some button, okay, it goes to here, okay, this is the button, this is a value, this is a property, and that clicks, QTP clicks for you. Okay, that's the reason to having this object repository. Okay, so let's go to the next. So this is the object spy. And so once you click this man with the hat guy, right? So you have this option object. This shows up here, and once you click on this and click on button, it shows all the properties and values right here. Okay, so that you can use in your code, or you can see what is on. Okay, so let's go to here. How Quick Test recognizes an object. So it has three properties, that is mandatory properties, assistive properties, and Adler identifier. Three major properties, but QTP requires only few properties are needed to uniquely identify an object. Okay, so as I told you, right, let's go back here, let's try to understand this. That means if QTP wants to click this, okay, you want to tell your QTP that to click this button, right? Now if you want to put properties and values when you're hard coding it, right? Now all the three sizes, all the three length, let's say length, all the three lengths are same. Okay, so you cannot use that property. And height, all the three buttons of this height is same. The only unique value for that property is the title of the button. That means enter Geom Online. So that's not this whole page. That's the only one. Okay, that's the title. So you can use that one. So that's what it means by only few properties are needed to uniquely identify an object. Only then, if you are able to identify that object, you can click it or select it or move to the next page, whatever you're trying to do, operation, you can perform it. So it's, you're performing an operation, right? You're performing an operation to, move forward with the pages, okay? Okay, so let's go to the next one. Synchronization. Okay, so why do we need this synchronization? Okay. So let's take an example here. Now, whenever when you have this script, right? Let's say you're running it. What happens, right? Let's say there's a server is slow. Okay, server is slow. This is a hardware issue. Okay, so it's a hardware and not related to any software. Okay, so let's say you click this button. Now, when you click this button, it's taking more time. Okay, it's taking like 5 seconds, 6 seconds. Nothing wrong with the software. Everything is good. Hardware has some issues, and the server is slow. But it's taking more time. It took like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and the QTP thinks that it is not working, and it fails the script. Okay, but it's really not the case, because we know the application is good and it is going to move forward, but because of the slow, the performance was not good. So that's a performance issue, but not really functional issue. Okay, so performance was not good, so that script got failed. Now, so you need to synchronize. That means you have to tell QTP to wait. Okay, so here's the thing. So you just write one line code here. Wait 10. That means wait for 10 seconds. Wait 5 seconds. Okay, so that what you require for synchronization. Okay, so we'll just navigate this code pretty quick. We'll just we'll have some time. Okay, so that's a one-line code, isn't just to wait. That means you're telling QTP wait, and putting in brackets 10. That means 10 seconds. Okay, you're synchronizing your application with the QTP. Okay. So let's go to the next checkpoints. So checkpoints is to verify that particular value or particular button or particular field or the information is available or not. Okay, so if you see in here okay, let me open up. So here, so it's actually manual process. Manual process in the sense you will be looking here manually. See this purple color you see here? So that's actually the checkpoint here. Okay, purple color they want to highlight. That means the particular information is visible or not. Okay, that's called checkpoint. Okay, so we'll just see here. So there are various checkpoints. Okay, so okay, this is a standard checkpoint. Okay, if you don't know what checkpoint to put, okay, to particular option, particular button or particular image, then you can use the standard checkpoint. Okay, it's a standard checkpoint. Then you have this image checkpoint. If you are using for image, so this image, okay, want to use this image checkpoint. Table checkpoint. Okay, let's say you want to use this table here. Oh, actually you guys don't see the table. Okay, so there's a table here. Okay, let me show you pretty quick. Okay, you see here table. You see here the table 498109. Okay, there's a table. Okay, so okay, you don't see that it's because invisible, but there's a table. Okay, so that's really not a good idea. We better use this table. Okay, this is good. So if you want to put this, this table is visible or not. Okay, so you can use table checkpoint. Okay, so that's what you can use. Then you have page checkpoint. If you want to checkpoint the whole page, okay, whole page, that means this purple color comes with the whole page is called page checkpoint. Then you have text checkpoint. Okay, let's say you want to checkpoint this text. Is text good or not? Okay, so then you use text checkpoint. And text area checkpoint. Okay, you want to see the area of the text. You can use the text area checkpoint. And bitmap checkpoint is similar to image checkpoint. Okay, and then you have database checkpoint. Database checkpoint, if you're working with databases, and normally QTP you cannot use automation for ETL perspective. For ETL, you cannot have this QTP as automation. But if they are limited, limited data like hundreds, there's records of 100 records, 200 records. It gets more complex, but if it's 100 records, you can also use for database checkpoints too. That means you are checkpoint your data. That's what it used for database checkpoint. Okay. So so here's the thing, right? So, okay, how you use this checkpoint? You can either see everything is available in menu bar. You can go ahead and check on menu bar, or if you have this option, right click it. Okay, once you right click it and see, this option shows up like insert checkpoint. Okay, so here is insert checkpoint, right? You can use it. Or if it is not available here, then you can always go through this menu bar. Okay, this menu bar contains everything. Okay. So let's do expressions. We'll just go to pretty quick in parameters. Okay. So parameters now shown you, right? So this is parameterization. So why do we need this parameterization? Okay, this is this question, right? Why do you need this parameterization? Now, as I told you, once you run the script, you run the script once, and I'm sorry, you record the script once. Okay? You record it once, but you have to run many times. Okay. Now let's take an example here. So if you are clicking here, right? Let's say this all is recording. Okay, let's stick in recording, and we have some options here. And okay, and okay, and you're recording everything, and everything got recorded and it's good. Now there's not like one guy, right? There's not one. There are so many people who will be. So you want to test for every like hundreds of people, right? Let's say hundreds of people, 50 of people see this script is running good for all the people. So different addresses. Okay, there will be different addresses with the different. Let's say somebody put some wrong address, right? Somebody has some wrong address. So you want to run that script and see if it's working or not. Okay, so. Well, that's the reason, right? You need parameterization. So that's the reason you need. That means instead of name, you will just put some variable. Here, this is a constant. Okay, you will changing that value. Put that variable, some variable name. Okay, you just give name. Okay, name. And what you do is in data table, see in this data table, right? Like Excel sheet you have, you put that options there. Okay. See here. This is the data table. So you just put it, and you run it. So now it runs various iterations, iteration 1, iteration 2, and so on. How much the value is, that many times it runs. So okay, this guys are showing for 1. That's for that they're trying to see here, and changing that London into variable. Okay. And you see this. This is a you can do this by right click to see this option here. You can either get this from menu bar. The menu bar is always good, but if this is a shortcut, you can get this. You can assign this. This is parameterization. Okay. Once you click this, this window shows up, and this is a constant that is London, and you can parameterize and put a name here. What name you're putting it, and once you do that, again, this option, which location of data table you want to choose, click on that and click on OK. So now what happens is that this data sheet, you want to update it and put all this data here. Okay, how many times? Now this has 4 options here, right? You see this 4, okay? This 4 things, right? So that means it runs for 4 times, 4 different times. That's called iteration. Okay, so that's the use of parameterations. Okay, so what is parameterization does is, instead of you record only once, but there are so many other people who has to, because there are different address, different name, different zip code, different states, different credit card numbers, different SSN, all things are different. So you want to see it's running for everyone. Okay, so the application is good. If something gets failed, they want to investigate and why this failed, why only that data is failed, is any specific reason, or this application problem, or there's any code problem. We want to investigate that. But that's the use of parameterization. Okay, so once you get this, this is the repo. So those reports get generated. Once it gets generated, you can see this. Is it pass? Is it fail? Okay. Just go here pretty quick. Okay, so this we see this actions. Actions is divided in 2 types. That is regular and reusable. Okay, so it's regular means you are using only in your local machine, and you can not use it, so it's non-reusable. Reusable, you can reusable in sense, say you are using that, right, and you are creating some library file. That means you want to create that and you're recalling that every now and then. So you want to use this. So you want to use this reusable. Put it library file and dump it to library, and you can recall anytime you want. So that's called reusable. Okay. And then you have these two reusable actions as two types, locally and externally. That means you want to only do it locally, that in your machine, or externally with all over the network area. Okay. So this action, let's go pretty quick here. So here, if you want to create, so okay. So you have this menu bar, right? You have this. Once you get, if you want to get this action, new action, you can do it from here. Okay. So you can start, even checkpoint is also here. You can use this checkpoint from here, and new action. You want to start transaction time, which we've seen this in the shortcut menu. Okay. So most of the things will be in menu bar. Okay. And if you want to use it, once you use it, you want to check mark, is it reusable action? Or if you don't check mark, there is non-reusable action. Okay. Okay, let's, I'll take just five minutes. Okay, so we'll complete this. Okay, so recovery scenarios. So why do we really require this recovery scenario? Okay, so let's take an example here. Okay. Let's take an example. Okay, what happens is, let's say you're running a script. Okay, the script is, let's say, 40-hour script. Okay, that means it runs for 40 hours. And what happens is, let's say we know the whole application is good, but we still want to make sure it's nothing to do. But there was some pop-up window showed up, right? That was a hardware issue that was from server side, but not for the application. Application is good, but the server had some issues, so the pop-up window shows up. So if this pop-up window shows up from nowhere, when running your script, the script gets failed because there's nowhere in the code to see that pop-up window, right? Now, the QTP thinks it's got failed and it gets failed, but if it gets failed at 39th hour and you're just running it, that's not good. If you have invested a lot of time, right? You've invested a lot of time in. So what you want to do is you want to use our recovery scenarios here. So there are three options. Trigger event. So what is the example what I told you, right? So this is a trigger. Let's say something got triggered. You want to tell QTP that ignore that and move forward with the script. Okay. So what you're saying in that is ignore that and move forward with this other script. So that's what the trigger event does. Okay. Recovery option, post recovery option. So let's see here. You see here. So here, if you take an example of trigger event, right? So let's say pop-up window. Okay, so we just gave you an example of pop-up window. A pop-up window shows up, and you want to tell QTP there, just ignore it. We know it's not an application, and move to the next scripts. Okay, and there's another option, object state test run error, and we say there's a test run error, and you want to tell QTP to stop it or run the next code. Okay, so it's something like that you can assign it here, or application crash. So these are the recovery. This is actually trigger event. Okay, and so that's how you can use this recovery scenarios. Okay, so let's see here. Let's let's go a little bit in the code. Okay, how this Visual Basic actually works. Okay. And let's try to see some code here. Okay. We just finish this pretty quick. Okay. So here, this is some set of codes, right? Let's go see this. Now this whole code, now if you see this, okay, this is really not right, but this the whole code is only to click a button. Okay, this whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines code, right? This is only to click a button. Okay, this whole code, what it does is just to click a button. So let's see here, how does this work? Okay, let's say here now. Let's say some. I'm going to choose that. Okay, so let's say this is the error box, right? This is error window. So how do you write this? So you have this window. Okay, this is because window it's showing is the Windows application, right? So it's a window. Error. Okay, this is an error. Okay, this is an error. It's supposed to show up here the title, but it's not showing up here. So error win button. Okay, so win button means you're talking about this button. This is a property. Okay, you're giving this, what you're talking about is button, win button. This is a property. What you're giving is value is okay. Another property, you can give a number of properties and values. Here they are taking 2. Okay. So width is okay. So that means it's telling the width is 50, and text is okay. That means text of this title of this button is okay. And what you're trying to do is dark click. That means dark click. Okay, so this is the, okay, actually this is one line button to click. Actually, this is just one line. This is requires before that actually, but one line code to just click a button. Similarly, you can do for the other. So here it's just a, if it is a button, it's a dark click. If it is a drop down box, you said dark select. If it is radio buttons, you put dark set. Okay, so all of these things. Okay, so these are actually pre-coded. It's already there. Okay, just you need to just use this. And this is the actually normally this would be the title of that window. So there is too many options, right? There's a window, there's a dialog, pop-up. So here we call it as window. It's based on what kind of dialog option. Here have a client application. Let's say you're using client application, right? In that case, you don't use that window. You use dialog. Okay. The pop-up window shows up. That is used for client application. So use dialog instead of window. Since this is a web application, you use window. So this is just an introductory part. So any questions so far? So you guys might have any. You might have class, right? So we'll just close pretty quick. So if you have need more information on this QTP or something, right? Let me do this. Let me show you. So if you if you want to, so in this syllabus, right? I have already given you syllabus, right? So there is some tutorials. Okay, maybe you can follow these tutorials and see if you can help it. Helps you. There's a tutorials for. Okay, so here is so you should be having this syllabus, right? In that you'll be having this, and this qtp.blogspot.com. And if you go here, there's a lot of tutorials. Okay. So here you want to check this tutorials option, and there's a lot of things actually. So once you go here, maybe you can go through it. Okay, you can go here. What is the different checkpoints, the different recovery options, all this, right? And this is like almost there was like 40 in 2009. You guys have been maybe they are features at 82. It's double almost. So you have this tutorial, so maybe you can go through read this and maybe you can try it. Okay. This actually script is there, but now you need this QTP, right? So there's a problem. Maybe you can download QTP. It comes with 30 days trial version. Maybe you can do that from HP. Okay, there's an option. Or what? Let's see here. Now I have this. Let's see here. Yeah, you guys have this Google Drive access, right? If you have this access to this Google Drive, maybe what you can do is you can download QTP that is there here. So let me show you. Go here. So if you see here, right, this is here, and go to the software that is 24th directory, and go to this automation tools, and see here, these are two, load another QTP, put a QTP, and maybe this QTP 9.1 doesn't work because it's some Windows, unless you have this virtual machine. So don't worry about it. You have this UFT 12.5, this should work, okay? If you want to download, you can do this, okay? This is an option. If you want QTP, you can download, but this comes with trial version. That means it lasts only for 30 days. So you can make use of it, okay, 30 days. So any questions so far? Yeah, you can have this 30 days, you can download it, so everyone has this, so we're given access to everyone, right? That's Google Drive, so maybe you can download it, see, try to run it. If it works, that's good. If not, let's see, we can do something. Yeah, anyone else have any questions? Go ahead. Okay, so yeah, if you have any questions, okay, so sure. I'm not sure exactly when the next batch starts. Okay, it will be in April, of course, but something around. See here, maybe about 9th. Well, I'm not exactly sure. They actually that comes from the HR. They have those who deciding. So yes, if you want to join, you can join the next batch. It comes in the April. So the dates and times will be mostly by next week. I'll be knowing it. So there's no way I can know by this time. Okay. So you can check with that. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. Thank you, guys.